Okay, so the recording has been turned on. So now I'm going to start talking about the time frames. Now, as you know, currency and, well, generally traders, they will look at different time frames to trade. So you can look at the weekly chart, you can look at the daily chart, H4, H1, M30, M15, M5, M1. What that means is that every candle here, in this case, it is going to be a H1, which means this shows the activity that happens within 1 hour. If you want to go down to the M1 chart, you could do something like that. That means each of these bars is going to be a 1 minute tick. Okay, so you'll see it move like crazy. Okay, and of course, yeah, when it moves like crazy, sometimes you also go crazy. So we tend not to go down to the M1 chart, but you know, if it's your cup of tea, Harmonics will work on that as well. So what's next? You can use this to zoom in. You can use this to zoom out to see the
There's a webinar going on.
You can do a bit of a compression.
Webinar.
You can do an expansion here. I believe you can take a picture with this. And okay, this should be to do a screenshot. Yep. So you can see that it's going to ask you to save this. And this one I think is to, I have no idea, I never used this before. Okay. But let's go to the toolbar. Now, in the toolbar, you can draw a trend line. And later on, when we start doing live trade analysis, we realize that the trend line is something that's very important when it comes to trading. So simply trend line, you can just draw from here to here, let go, and the next time you log in, next, wow. Okay, so there's a request that
It's okay.
you should mute all your mics. The mic. Okay, I've been able to mute everybody. Hopefully you can still hear me. Okay, so I've muted everyone. Bunhui, can you still hear me? You also mute me. Okay. Okay, so Nuno says we can hear you, so we're going to go ahead. So the trend line is an important line, which I'll show later on when we do a live trade. Under tools, you also have Fibonacci retracement. So very simply, Fibonacci is what you guys all know. You can draw something like that, and the exact Fibonacci levels are indicated here. So you guys, if you are very serious about harmonic trading, you need to understand all these Fibonacci levels, because this is all the real levels that you need. So I don't know if other people speak about 113, but that is important for your trading as well. Okay, up next you've got the horizontal line, which is quite straightforward. You've got a vertical line, which is once again quite straightforward, and you've got a text. So I can say, wow, I've never used the text before. You can say hi everyone, and you can even color it in different ways. Okay, so all right, this is the cosmetic part. Now let's get into the fun part, which is really to start monitoring your trades. Okay, so I'm going to click on monitor, and then we just give it some time. Okay, and you can see that you will be able to see something called emerging trades, and you can also see the completed trades. Now, completed trades are harmonic patterns that have already been completed at the point D. So harmonic patterns have 5 levels, it's 5 points. It's called X, A, B, C, D. So whenever it hits point D, that is considered to be complete, which means you guys have to be ready to take a trade and to start observing what's happening. If it's emerging, that means only the point C has been created, which means it is only 4 points that's been created at this point of time. Okay, so let me go and pick up an example of something that is just being completed. So you can click on the pair that you want, and you can click preview, which is really just to see, hey, what's going on here. Okay, or you can see, or you can say chart, which is to go to the chart and start seeing this pattern being created. Okay, so can you guys see that this is a shark pattern? Okay, it's a shark pattern, and you can see at the confluence zone there is some reaction here. Okay, but I'm going to cover this a bit later on during trade execution, but for now this is how the monitoring works. So on the flip side, if you go into let's say pound New Zealand is your favorite pattern, you want to go and check, you know, what's happening here. So you go to preview. Wow, you can see that this trade is something that's interesting. It's something that we can maybe trade together a bit later on. Okay, so this is a Gartley pattern, and you can see that there are 3 levels that needs to get hit. I'm not going to explain how harmonic patterns are drawn today, but I'm just going to explain to everyone how to use this software so that you guys can do your normal work and just use this software to help you to identify trades and when to get into that trade. Okay, so this is something interesting. We can wait for this guy to hit this level, and then we'll be very interested in buying this pair. So that's it for monitors, but under the view you can go and, okay, for me I have created a view and I've said I'm interested in M15 trades and above. That means don't show me trades that are 5 minutes and 1 minute. I don't have the time for that. I'm also not a very scalper kind of a person. So you can go and set up your view here. Okay, so for you guys, please make sure that okay, if you're seeing all M1 trades and all that, it's going to be a bit annoying. So for me personally, I've gone for the M15 trades, and I will just focus on Forex. I'm not looking at any of the indices or oil or the dollar index, but that is completely customizable by ourselves. So let me show you an example. If I want to create a new view, I'll just say add new view, and I'll call it formation seeker view. Okay, and then I can click here, and based on this I can select. So let's say I'm only interested in, okay, this one, let me say I'm just interested in M5 and M1, which means I'm a scalper, and I'm interested in all of this and all of this. Okay, can you guys see straight away there are 18 trades for me to take completed? There are also another 24. So let's take a look at what happened here. Okay, we can take a preview. M1, okay, this hasn't, it has hit the zone, but it's not quite there yet. So we have to wait for that. So maybe let's scroll down and see another M5 trade. Okay. Okay guys, look at this. I mean, these are impromptu selections that I've made, but take a look at what happened when this pair hit the zone. So the zone is where the triangle ends over here. So I'm going to turn on the levels. Okay, so you can see that around here there is a sharp reaction and it's starting to move above. So even on a M5, that means a 5-minute time frame. Okay, so let's look at something that really completed. That one was kind of half-baked, but let's see if I can find something that worked out. Let's go to the chart. Okay, here you can see that the pattern, so maybe it's time for me to start looking at M5 patterns as well, because this looks really good, although this didn't complete 100%. Okay, so let's go back again. I want to find something that really completed either successful or unsuccessful. Let's try to find one. So how about this? Okay, let's look at this guy. So you can see this, okay, hit somewhere here, and then there was a bit of consolidation. Later on I'll take you through how to do an execution on this, but you can see that there was a sharp reaction at this level on a 5-minute chart. So from about 85, 82, it dropped down to about 100 pips, okay, on a 5-minute chart. But later on, let's go through this so that you guys can fully understand how to make a trade. Okay, so that's that. And let me see, what else can I do? Okay, here you can do filters. You can, if you don't like a particular pattern, which is unusual, you should like all patterns, because all patterns are trading opportunities for you. So you can select what patterns you want. If you don't like the shark, you can take out the shark and trade the rest. Okay, if you only like to buy, if you feel that selling is bad luck to you, okay, you can just say, show me only the buying opportunities. Or maybe you cannot see upside down. You can only, when I started trading, I had that problem. I can only see buy opportunities because my head wasn't fully configured. But now you can see both. Okay, wings proportions is how big you want your pattern to be. So it's the ratio between the first part of the pattern and the second part of the pattern. So generally I will set it to maximum, which means there is no I guess no biasness towards how big the second part of the pattern can be. Okay, now let me go under more. Okay, and for the people in the room, how many of you guys have actually gone through all these webinars? Or at least, how many of you have gone through at least one of them? Okay, 5 of them? Okay, good, because I feel this is an amazing resource. So, okay, let's take a look at this. Clicking here, should open up. Okay, here you go. So what happens is every Monday night, our time in Singapore, Scott will go in and he'll talk and he'll do an analysis of what he thinks about the market. So let me...
Welcome to March 14th, Formation Seeker weekly webinar. And I want to do a combination of looking at HSI with completion points.
Okay, so I'm not going to play the whole thing, but guys, there is so much of resources here. This is like talking to Scott live, okay? He's the best person to learn this from in the world. So if you, you know, maybe the long weekend is coming up, spend time going in here. There's about 20 hours of resources here, okay? I know Reena is laughing, but it's good stuff, really. You learn about HSI, you learn about how he learns to trigger, how he avoids trades, and so on and so forth. Okay, so sounds good. Take a look at this. It's very important. And if you guys enjoy talking to other people, you can go into the forum and you can chat with them. I don't use this at all, but if you find it useful, make friends here. Okay, now let me start going into the to get some live trades, okay, because that's what we are here for. Any questions from anyone around the functionality of Formation Seeker? Okay, because I know we didn't cover this during the class, so I hope that you've got some good knowledge. Okay, so Nuno, you have a question, please go ahead. You'll have to type it out. Is it possible to customize patterns? So, okay, I'm talking a bit too fast. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to talk slower. I don't quite understand what you mean by customizing patterns, because there are a few official... Yes. So Luke's question is, does it show fail patterns? Definitely. And I'm going to teach you guys how to identify a good pattern versus a bad pattern. Going back to Nuno's question, is it possible to customize patterns? you can only see the patterns that are the official harmonic patterns. Now, Paul says maybe she means the cipher pattern. The cipher pattern is not an official harmonic pattern. It is not endorsed by Scott Carney, so you'll have to make sure that you start using the shark pattern, which is more accurate and more based on harmonics, whereas the cipher pattern is something that was introduced by Jason Stapleton, which is not an official pattern in the harmonic armory. Okay, so yeah, I think Nuno, I answered your question. Okay, great. Any more questions? I'm talking very slowly now. And that's good feedback. All right. So I think everybody wants to see potential patterns that are coming up. Okay. I'm going to look at, okay, very good. So Lee's question is, can additional indicators be added in? The answer is, I'm sure it can be, but my question back is, why do you want more indicators? Later on, I'm going to show something called HSI, which is going to blow your mind away. It is called the Harmonic Strength Index, which really can pick the exact time to pull the trigger on a trade. Okay, so therefore we don't want to confuse ourselves with 101 different indicators, and let's therefore focus on there are only two indicators here, which is HSI and RSI. So let's use those two to help us out. So you can see it here. Okay, and I think there was a request to find, oh, wonderful question, Vincent, do we have HSI in MT4? So I was explaining it to the class here that HSI is a proprietary indicator that was developed by Scott. He is willing to open this up to the whole world, but his concern with MT4 is that it is easily hackable, which means someone can take it out and manipulate it. So he is not willing to put it on MT4. It is at the moment on Formation Seeker, and if you guys have a NinjaTrader account, you should be able to get it on NinjaTrader as well. Okay. Right, so let me go back to Seka's question. Okay, I think he's very anxious to get a good trade today. So let me go and look. So based on his request, I'm going to customize my time frame just for M15. Okay, and we're going to look at all the usual Forex stuff. Let me quickly look at the completed ones to see if there is something immediate that we can take a look at. Okay, so we are looking at pound Aussie M15 deep crab bullish. Now, as I said, I'm not going to spend too much time explaining each pattern, but a deep crab bullish is an extreme move that you really can't see it with any other trading method other than for harmonic. So let me just open this up, and okay, this looks quite exciting. This pair has hit 18766, and you can see that on the M15 chart, I'm going to blow it up now. You can see it has hit the first line here. Now for harmonics, you need to have three levels that must, a bar has to cross these three levels. So as you can see, it has hit the first level, but it has not hit the second one, neither has it hit the third one. So although there is a nice bounce off this, you cannot get tempted and click and say, okay, harmonic pattern is completed already, I'm going to go in. Okay, we asked Scott this question and we got scolded. We asked him, one bar, one line cross can or not? He scolded us. So if anyone asks me the same question, I have to scold you as well. I'm just kidding. But his rules are very defined. You cannot take a trade unless all three lines have been cut by a single bar. So let me go back to the monitor and look for a completed trade. There were two questions. Vincent asked, is 2 lines okay? We asked the same question from Scott and we got scolded again. So cannot. You must have all 3 lines cut by a bar. Okay? And this is a golden rule in trading. Let me find a trade that happened maybe earlier so that you can see that it has already happened. Okay, so this looks good. What if the 3 lines are far apart? The rules still apply. You must wait for all 3 to be cut. Otherwise, no trade. So let's look at this guy. Now, you can see on Formation Seeker, you will see that this is the bar that cuts all 3. Okay, we call this the terminal bar or the T bar. Now, when we first started teaching harmonics, we would have just put a pending order here. Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay, GM, I'll answer your question in a while, okay? Okay, now, Seika, please wait. I'll go and take a look. Okay, now this is called the terminal bar, which means that there must be a bar that touches the most extreme line. That is called your terminal bar. So you could have something like this. One of these bars coming and cutting 2 of the lines, then the next bar hits the 3rd line. That is your terminal bar, which means your light is turned on. You know that there is a potential trade here. Can you execute the trade on the next bar? Yes or no? The answer is no. You know why? Because you have to wait and see how the market reacts in the next bar. Okay, so you must be patient. So after this bar, you can take the trade. But, and I'm going to turn on HSI here. HSI will tell you that this trade is not ready to be taken. Okay, I'm going to explain HSI a bit later on, but for now you can see that I will not be interested in taking this trade until this market has turned downwards below 886, as I was explaining to you guys in the class. Okay, so let me go back and look for another example. So this wasn't a perfect example, but it is a trade that we would avoid. Let me pick, okay. Let me pick the trade that we took yesterday. I feel this is it. Yeah, okay, good example. Okay, I'm going to take out the levels and I'm going to show you the terminal bar. Now, here comes the terminal bar. Can you take the trade immediately after the terminal bar? No. Okay, now here's a good example. Let's really fatten this up and take a look. This line cuts 2 of the Fibonacci levels. Is that your terminal bar? No. The next one also cuts 2 of the lines. Is that your terminal bar? No. This is the one that cuts the final line, and that's why this is your terminal bar. Agree? Can you take, just because the terminal bar is formed, can you take the trade? No. You must wait for the next trade. Now, are you looking to buy or to sell? You're looking to buy, which means your next bar, you must see some indication that the buyers are interested, right? Can you imagine the next bar really like huge red bar? Do you think you are interested in taking the trade or to buy it? No, because you know that the buyers they're not in the game. So this next bar is quite nice. Why? Because it shows that the buyers are interested. Then the next bar, of course, wow, huge red bar. but it's okay. And then it starts steadily picking up, and then it moves up nicely. We need to use this knowledge in conjunction with HSI to really find which bar to enter a trade into. Okay, so I'm going to just turn on the levels, and you can see the software is able to tell you where your entry price should be, where you should put your stop loss, where your target 1 is, and where your target 2 is. It only shows 2 targets, okay, to make things very simple. Now, there was a question earlier, when is a trade invalidated? So, or what if the closing price hits beyond D? So if this guy, the rule of thumb that we use is that if the bars continue to go down and hit the stop loss, you don't consider this trade anymore. Okay, you sit back, you relax, and have a cup of coffee. Okay, let me show you a trade that happened this morning. Is it essential for a candle to touch all 3 levels at once? No, it's not. You can see from this example, this candle doesn't touch all 3, but it is the final candle that touches the final level, and that is your T bar. Let me go to euro dollar. I saw this trade this afternoon. I was getting ready to click, but I wasn't able to do so. Okay, what happened to our internet connection? Just give me a minute. Okay, here we go. This is what I wanted to show you. It was one of these bullish crabs. This one hasn't happened yet. Okay, point D. Which one? No, I wanted to show the one that fails. That didn't fail, right? I'm trying to find, there was one this afternoon. Here you go. Okay guys, so in a previous life, we would have, as soon as we saw confluence is overlapping of lines, okay, you would have placed a trade, a pending order. Now, when we told Scott, so we met Scott about 1 year ago, but he really started training us about 3 months ago. So when we said we put a pending order, his answer was, you should never, ever, never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever put a pending trade. Okay, so we didn't, even when we were educating previously, we just said, okay, put a pending trade here. So now the danger of this is because you need a potential reversal zone, or a confluence zone is a zone where the market may potentially change. Okay, so you don't know, it's not a CRZ. A CRZ is a certainly reversal zone. This is a PRZ, a potential reversal zone. So you just cannot park an order here. This guy bashed through. This absolutely murdered the PRZ. So do you think you'll be interested in taking this trade? Okay, although it says the entry is here, it is completely beyond the PRZ. So I'm not interested in taking this trade at all. In fact, it came very close to the stop loss. So unless there is a lot of stabilization and a lot of more additional confirmation, this is going to be a dangerous trade to take. Let's look at something else that may come up here. Okay, where is this zone? No, this zone is also pretty high. There was a bat pattern at the same level. But let's try to analyze this together. So I'll off the levels. And I think it's the same candle. This candle really scares you, right? When you see this, it just completely goes through, and it means that the bears are in control. no one would be interested in buying this. Okay, there was a request to look at dollar yen. So let me switch to dollar yen and let's look for some examples on M15. See if we can find anything. Okay, charts are a bit slow today. Okay, I'm going to switch over. Wow, okay, we've got a lot here. So let's try to take a look at the bullish signals that happened earlier today. Okay, looks like we've missed a nice trade, but let's look at this Gartley. Okay, I want to see this has failed. Okay, let's take a look. Now, how would you trade this? Now, okay, ignore the two fellows here, okay? But this is your terminal bar. Everybody agrees? Terminal bar. What does the next bar tell you? Now, you are in a position where you're looking to buy. What does the next candle tell you? Sell. Not really sell, but what does it tell you? It's a bearish bar, which means it's telling you the sellers are still in control or the buyers are not interested. No, you can't take trades from this platform. You have to have your own platform. Exactly. There is no semblance of a reversal here. So then you have to wait. You cannot, just because we say you must look at the next bar, you cannot take the trade. So you wait for the next bar. My goodness, what happens to the next bar? Absolute crash through. If I turn on the levels, I'm sure it would have hit the stop loss. Are you guys interested in this trade anymore? No. Move on to the next one. Okay? So let me move on to the next bat pattern, which seems to have happened just now. Okay, let's take a look. I'll off the levels one more time and let's do a quick analysis of what's happening here. Okay, do you see this white bar? This is going to be your, what is this called? Terminal bar. Is it difficult for you guys to see the two bars? Shall I switch to Chrome? Or can you? No, this double bar, it's okay? Okay, so you, I don't know if I change the color to, is that better? Better? No? Cannot see? Okay. No, if I switch to Chrome, it's okay. All right. Now let's go through this. First bar, test the PRZ. Is it an ugly bar that crashes through? No. Okay. It almost seems to say, hey, I like this zone. I'm going to respect it and I'm going to stabilize myself. What does the next bar tell you? Who's in control for this particular bar? This 15 minutes, is it the bulls or the bears? The bulls, which means, hey, I can enter off the next bar. Okay, if you put your levels on, you could see that, wow, already you've hit target 1. Okay, so let's say you entered somewhere here and you can, maybe you would have gotten about 30 pips out of that. Okay, and now you're looking for your target 2. So what have you guys learned here? That as soon as you see your terminal bar, look out for the next one. That bar is going to tell you whether you're interested in going in or not. Okay, let's pick another example, and I want to move into HSI, which I think is the most important indicator when it comes to trading. Based on what we've seen, it is more accurate than RSI because it's very sensitive and kind of, it's almost built for harmonics. That's why it's called the harmonic strength indicator, and it really can tell you what is a good level to buy. Okay, why is the entry shown below all 3 lines? Okay, so that you do not have to enter at any of the lines. You should really look to enter at the close of the terminal bar. So that is your optimal entry point. Okay, that's why the software shows it the entry as 111.39. Sometimes you have a chance of getting in at this level, sometimes you don't. Okay, but the software is not really able to tell you, you know, where that is the low, not close. Yes, that is correct. It is the low. So it can't really tell you where exactly is the best point. It's just an indicator, but I still think that it's quite useful. Okay. Yes.
Just now when I saw there were so many patterns, so I had this question. When there are many potential patterns appearing, does this signify more potential or more volatility versus one that maybe has less patterns emerging?
Quite. It's not really. I don't know. I can't really answer that question. It's got nothing to really do with volatility. It's just that it's the way the market sets up. But what I realize is that the more patterns there are, the more chances of a reversal there is. Because if the first pattern, exactly, like last week, if you look at Aussie CAD, I don't know if the example still exists, but I remember looking at M15. No. We were trying to buy it last week, so it's disappeared already. Today, maybe let's look at Euro USD. Okay, maybe the range here is not as tight as what you were describing, but I've seen instances where there is a pattern here, there is a pattern here, there's a pattern here. And what that means is that somewhere around here, there is a buy zone. But the problem is sometimes if the first pattern fails, so you need to follow your rules for each and every pattern. If the first pattern shows you a reaction and all the boxes are ticked, go for it. If it crashes through, ignore it. And the Aussie CAD is the best example. I wish I could show it. It was somewhere around, yep, in fact it was exactly here if I'm not wrong. There were patterns to buy here, to buy here, to buy here, and to buy here. So finally, the one that reacted nicely was this level. Okay, so that's where you should buy. So as just because you see patterns here, and if the terminal bar does not meet your criteria or the HSI doesn't meet your criteria, just let it go, and then it will come and settle down at the correct level that you should go in. Yes.
So there's no precedence to say which patterns going along?
No, there isn't. But if you had to ask me a question, if there's a pattern to trade, well, what happened there? Who did that? Wow. Okay. Let's try that again. If there is, okay, let's take this example. Okay, I think that's a good question. If there is a pattern to trade here and to trade here, I would always try to take the more extreme pattern, because that's going to be the best bang for the buck, if I could say that. But let's analyze this. Okay, here, can you see the bar that hits your PRZ? It's very bullish. Okay, although I don't know if this is your terminal bar, but let's try to analyze this together. Is it this one? Where is your terminal bar? Okay, your terminal bar is this one. Okay, which I think looks really good. I like this because it's a shooting star. Okay, so, and the second one, if you see this, you can straight away enter. But my point is that, let's say if this guy was a really big bullish bar here, then you will skip this and jump onto the next one. Okay, you look for the next PRZ, which is up here. So as you can see, then the other one that was on top of this, it never got triggered. Where is that? No, I can't find it. Was it a bat? Yeah. This one? Yeah. Oh yeah, thank you. Okay, you can see that it never got triggered. The third line never got hit, and that's why. And as you can see, so it's a good point. The smaller PRZ reacted very nicely. So all you have to do is just follow your rules. Okay, you see two patterns here, and you observe the first one. The first one gives me a T-bar, a terminal bar. The second one definitely shows me that this is rejected already. So the third one you can sell, and your stops will have to be somewhere around this level, and you can catch this whole right down. Okay? Yes.
For this case, the HSI is not showing oversold.
It is, right? At this level. Okay, how do you know the HSI for a particular candle? Okay, this is a good, yeah, it's a good question. Here, the HSI is shown as 54. So yeah, I agree with you. I don't think we can take this trade. Okay, unless you go down. Sometimes I go down to the 5-minute chart. Okay, to see if the 5-minute chart can give me something further. And okay, I've lost the pattern. I don't know where it is. But if the 5-minute chart can show me that HSI is above 886, then I'm willing to take this trade.
So the HSI trigger is when it comes back down, or
correct.
Oversold.
Right. So let me cover HSI now. Okay. So everyone, I'm going to tell you about HSI and how to use it in your trading moving ahead. So the indicators on Formation Seeker is RSI and HSI. You need to use both of it, but what we're beginning to see is that HSI is a very, very good indicator as to how the market is going to move. So guys, let's go and find a trade that's going to happen now, because I don't want to talk about things that are happening in the past, which okay, let me take out these two guys. Okay, let's see what's being completed now. It's all M15. Okay, let's look at Euro CAD. Okay, remove all these lines. Wow, okay, this is a very good move, but it did not hit our third level. Okay, so some of you might say, oh my goodness, this, I don't like this rule. As long as it touches one line, I want to take it. But guys, this is one of the trades that worked out in your favor by touching one line. Let's say if you take it off the next bar, there are going to be 5 more trades that will fail. Okay, so you must follow your rules. Okay, so this trade is still active. If it comes back down, crosses these 3, I still think it is going to be a good trade. So let me try and find something else. I want to find something that's really hot at the moment. Still no. Okay, not completed yet. New Zealand yen. Okay, this seems to be the nicest guy to take. Okay, I'm going to focus on the PRZ. You can see that this bar is your trigger bar, okay, your terminal bar. But you must look at the corresponding HSI. Okay, the HSI it's very sensitive to price movement, and the rule for buying is that, first of all, when you're about to buy, the price must come and touch 11.3. 11.3 is a Fibonacci number. Okay, it is the inverse of 886. So what needs to happen is it either needs to go slightly below a 113 or touch 113. So when you come to the terminal bar, let me turn off the levels. When you come to the terminal bar, you can highlight it. Can you see the value of HSI? Can someone read it off to me? Do you guys know where to look for it? It's here. Yes, it's on your top right hand corner. Okay, so HSI minus 21.32. Let's look at the next bar. HSI minus 6.03. Can you take the trade? No. Even though it's a bullish bar, can you take the trade? No, because HSI has to go above 11.3. The next bar, HSI 2.88. Can you take the trade? No. The next bar, HSI is 24 point. Okay, you can take this. Okay, so let's say you take it off this bar. Okay, which means you've already moved out quite a bit. But guys, would you take a trade here when your reward is so little and your risk is so much? No, I'll skip this trade. I will either wait for this guy to come back down and show me some signs, or I will completely scratch this trade. Okay, because when you get into a trade, you must have a good business case. Okay, so in these kind of situations, you just don't bother to take the trade. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Let me show you the euro yen trade that we took yesterday. Yes.
In this case, it's going down again. Will you take the trades
Here? You could potentially take this trade, but one thing you have to remember is you must draw that trend line. Okay, so let's say if I took the trade here, I'm going to draw a trend line like this. Okay, and as soon as this breaks down, I'm going to exit the trade. So which means I'll be out at break even on this trade. Okay, because you must see that this guy, this is your type 1 test, this is your type 2 test. You must see this guy move up. So you must draw a 45-degree line and then see it move above this. Okay, so in this case it breaks down, so as soon as it hits break even, I'll be out of this trade. Okay, this is different from what we used to do, because we used to say set and forget, and you don't actively monitor the trade. That's where this kind of a trade would hit your loss. You can see it's crashing down now, right? So nothing much that you can do about it. Okay, let me find, okay, let me go to that euro yen example, because that's the one that's fresh on my mind. Okay, so let's do a step by step. Let's try both the bullish and the bearish. Okay, so let's look at the bullish one. Okay, step by step, starting from here. This is your trigger bar. How much is HSI? You guys can read it off. Minus 1.59. Can you take it? No. Next bar, HSI is 8. Okay, you still can't take it. But what is the bar telling you? It's looking bullish, but patience. But yesterday I already jumped in here, but now on hindsight I should wait for the next one. Now this is interesting. The bar is going down, but your HSI is going up. Okay, which means it's telling you something, that the market is maybe reversing. Price is going down, HSI is going up. Okay, but you still don't enter because it's a, what's wrong with this bar? Bearish. So then you look for the next bar. HSI is 17. Jump. Okay, so we should have entered this trade around 125.31. Okay, yesterday we entered at 125.35. Okay, still around there. But the good thing here is that you save yourself a little bit of heartache, right? You enter here, my goodness, you're like panicking. This is going to fall, fall, fall. So next time, just click, highlight this and see what the HSI value is. So this one is 17. you can straight away get inside. Put on the levels and you can see that your stop loss could be as small as maybe 15 pips and your targets are up here. Okay, so let's look at the next one, which is the Bearish Shark. And let's see if this shows us anything nice. Okay, let me fatten this up. Right. Trigger bar. Everyone agrees? 2 bars here. What is the HSI value? Okay, I have to turn off the levels, otherwise it's very ugly. Turn off the levels. How much? 100 and, can you guys see that? 106.79. Can you take the trade? No. Wow, this guy, Sekha, answers even before I ask the question. The next one, HSI is already down to 70. Can you take the trade on the next bar? Yes or no? Yes, because the flip side applies to when you're trying to sell, your HSI must move below 886. Make sense? Okay, so this bar HSI is no good. This one there is a sell-off and HSI drops to, this one is 92, this one is 70. So you can only take it after this bar completes, so which is somewhere around here. Then you've got to make a judgment call. How is my risk to reward if wow, you can't take this actually. If you're entering here, you're already at target 1. Okay, so skip this trade, that's fine. Okay, so you've got to justify it yourself. If I'm entering here, am I going to make good money? If I'm not going to get to my target 1, if I'm already sitting on target 1 and I'm looking to sell, then there's something wrong. So skip this trade and look for the next one. Guys, with Formation Seeker, you will get at least 3 to 4 trades a day. If you're looking at M15 and above, if you look at M1 and M5, you'll go crazy. You will see a lot of trades. In fact, for the Swiss yen today, because we were analyzing this trade with Scott, and I saw a very nice, I saw something on 5 minutes before this fellow fell. Did it touch the PRZ? Good question. Okay, I'm going to, yes. Okay, so take a look at this. I'll turn on the levels. I'll try to fatten it as much as possible. Okay, do you see this? There is your trigger bar at 115.69. Okay, I think your question was, did it touch here? Maybe it didn't. Okay, but you can see after that there was a huge fall. Okay, so even M5 trades, guys, if you have time, you know, please take a look at this. These are trades where you could potentially be risking only about 10 pips and you could earn 100. Okay, these trades may become 1 in 50, but it happened today. Okay, is this a perfect trade? Maybe not. Maybe the HSI is not good enough for me. So I would have said I would have skipped this also, strictly following rules. But from a harmonic pattern perspective, this was a really good trade. Okay, I need to find some trades for us to take action upon, but I can't seem to find anything today. So let me see anything. Bunhui, do you see anything that's tradable? Can you show a higher time frame pattern? Okay, thank you for that question. Dollar franc? I'm also looking at that. Is it there? Okay, what are the important levels of HSI and where do we take note of it? So the only place you can find HSI at the moment is on Formation Seeker. You need to go to Oscillator, turn on Harmonic Strength Index. Okay, so this is something that I have been waiting very patiently, and I'm still very patient. I'm hoping my wish will come true this week. Now if you look at the dollar Swiss pair, it's been falling, okay, but there is a shark pattern here, and it hit last Friday. I was wondering should I enter or not, but I don't know, for some reason I did not enter. I didn't put this out as a signal as well, but it was a good trade. So let's analyze this together. You could see that here the HSI is minus 19. I'll turn off the levels. HSI is minus 19. Can you enter? No. What's the magic number you're waiting for if you're buying? 113. So
sorry, I just want to ask, you say 113 as in only when the candle bar, as in let's say if it's a bullish or a bearish candle, must that candle be closed in a sense
yes,
where, and then once it's closed at that point of time it's at 113, then we
yeah.
enter.
So let me give you an example here. Okay, I'm not sure. Normally until the candle closes you can't really get a good HSI reading. So you have to wait for the candle to close. Like here, you can see that the HSI is changing, right? Can you see? HSI is 48.8, and so it's changing. So you must wait for it to give you a stabilized reading. The candle has to close. That's only when you can read it, because if you try to take it, if you're on a 1 hour chart and you look at the HSI in the first 5 minutes, it could be very different from the HSI that happens at the candle close, right? So take a look here. Minus 20, no good. 7, wow, big jump, interesting. Next one, 17, okay? Bearish bar, but HSI has jumped out. So you can take the trade. So you take it. Okay, so you are entered around 96.54. And you have to wait for a long time, and then okay, now it's beginning to come back down. I don't know, but in trading we also wait. Now this is your type 1 test, okay? In fact, let me just check. Okay, this is your type 1 test. You need, if this fellow comes back down here and tests this level again, and we can find the same kind of HSI reaction, that is going to be your type 2 test. And that's where I'll be very interested in entering this pair, and we will release it as a signal. Okay, so that is going to be one of the long-term trades I'm looking at. I'm also interested in shorting Aussie Kiwi. Yeah. So you mean how much longer can you wait? It's okay. You can wait, and or maybe you can even look for a smaller pattern. So let's say if we go down to M15, is there a pattern to buy? M15, nothing bullish. M5, nothing bullish. Everything is calling for a sell at the moment. Okay, so for now you just wait for it to come back down, and then we use the same criteria. Once, first of all, you need to look for another terminal bar, okay, a type 2 terminal bar, and then you also look for the HSI to move out of the 113 level, and after that you can take the trade. Okay, so but remember, you can only play this game twice. The third time, high chance that it's going to fail. Okay, the question on the chat was, can you do this on a D1 time frame? So let me go back to that Aussie Kiwi trade, and wow, why is it showing me 0? Okay, let me go back to D1. Okay, now I'm very interested in shorting this guy. let's look at this. Is it here? Okay. This is the trade that I'm looking at for a type 2 retest. You can see that there is a daily butterfly to short this pair. The terminal bar happened about 10 days ago. It fell down, it went up. In fact, the type 2 has already completed. But I'm looking for a smaller pattern here to see if I can short this. Okay, and today when I was looking through, we see loads of patterns here in the smaller time frame. So there is a bat pattern here. Okay, now take a look at this. The bat pattern will happen in about another 30 pips, 32 pips. I'm going to wait and see if this HSI can cross over. So let's talk this through together. The first thing you need to see, the first thing you need to see is this guy go through here and create a terminal bar. That is step number 1. Step number 2, check for the next bar. Is it fully bullish and shooting through? Don't be cautious. If it's a bearish bar, look at HSI. Is HSI beginning to cross below 886? If it is, you have a trade, get into it. Okay, and you can follow the stop losses as indicated by the formation seeker. So you might ask, how come I only have, when I turn on the levels, why do I only see target profit 1 and target profit 2? It's because the terminal bar has not been created yet. Once the terminal bar is created, then it will tell you the stop loss and the entry price. Okay, so this is a pretty good trade because I know that on a daily level there is a big pattern to sell. Okay, and I'm looking for smaller level patterns to coincide with this. So my stop loss should be pretty much above 1320. Okay, so which means you might have a 30 pip stop loss, and if I can get to maybe target profit 1 of this big pattern, that will be really wonderful. But I will do a lot of active trade management to make sure that this, if there is any sign that the trade is going against me, I will cut and take profit straight away. Okay, I'm going to try and find something that is actionable. This guy seems to be screaming at me, the pound crab bullish. Okay, what is this guy telling me? Okay, where is our T-bar? Okay, we are having a T-bar forming right now. 841, so by 8:45 this is going to be your, what did I do? Sorry. Okay, let me just clear that up again. But I want you guys to look at this very closely. Are you going to be interested in taking this trade? You are looking to buy. This is likely to be a bullish candle. But what's wrong here? Or is there anything wrong? Very good. What is the problem with HSI? Okay, I can't. Rafael, going back to your question, I can't see HSI on this candle that's not complete yet. So I have to go to the previous one. HSI is 25.25. This one, when I look at it, I can see from here, it's still around the same area. Can I enter this? Even if the next candle is very bullish, I can't. Because HSI tells me that this guy needs to go down or touch this level and then start moving up. Until then, no trade. Okay, so this is a good example of, even though all the stars are aligned, you should not take this trade. Okay, and that's the difference between RSI and HSI. RSI will tell you that this is a potential trade because it's at the oversold area, but HSI is telling you no, this may continue lower. So let's take a look at it in about 1 hour's time and see if we can, see how this trade panned out. Okay, but I really want to find a live trade now. So no, but a live trade, like something that we can really trade upon. Okay. Anything you guys are seeing? Okay, someone is asking for euro dollar. But see, if there is no pattern, we will not take it. So just because it's okay, let's see here. This looks okay. This looks interesting. In fact, this is already gone by us again. Okay, let's read this through. Trigger bar. Okay, the terminal bar. Sorry, looks good. What is okay? I'm going to turn off the levels. Okay, it's not good. It's minus. Next bar, minus 10. Can you take? No. Next bar, although it's a bearish bar, you can't take it. Next bar, 24.22. Can take? Yes. Why are you taking it? There is a pattern. HSI is telling you yes, so you buy. Okay, so you buy at around 1.197. Now you turn on the levels. Okay, so although the software tells you that you buy it here, you're actually buying it around 1.12. Okay, and you're trying to get to your target 1. Wow, the risk to reward on this is really good. Your stop loss is going to be very tight, about 15 pips. Your first target is going to be about 50 pips. Okay, so about 1:3. Yeah. Okay, so let's do this together again. So consider this our live trade. The terminal bar, how much is HSI? Sorry, I need to turn off levels again. It's a bit annoying. Okay, how much is HSI here? -5. You can't take it. Next one looks a lovely bullish bar, but HSI is -11. Cannot take it. Next one is a bearish kind of a bar, but the HSI is turning up. The next one, it's a horrible looking bearish bar, but HSI is becoming more positive. After here, wow, HSI really moved up so much. Wait, let me confirm. 49. Okay, so this is where you buy. Entry price is the open of the next bar. Yeah, I'll just buy it off the next bar. So 1.12. Okay, and then your stop loss will be just below here as marked out by the software, and you should be up about 24 pips now. Okay, how do you manage this trade? So that's another important question. You need to draw. How I would do it is a 45-degree line off this, which is roughly something like this. As soon as the trade, if this fellow comes and closes below this, I'm out of the trade. I'm going to pocket the money. Okay, so you've got to make sure that your trade management is sound this way. Otherwise, what's going to happen is this fellow might come all the way down and stop you out. You are up 25 pips, and by the time the trade finishes, you're back with minus, or you've lost money. Yes.
This is what you see my Facebook post. You don't just give back
That's correct. Yes. So this is very. I don't know why that keeps happening. This is something that we really picked up from Scott, because he said, guys, you have to be active managers of your trade. You can't do this set and forget business and, you know, pray to every god that everything will work out for you. You have to be quite involved in this, and that's why we advocate this. So until this guy breaks down below this line, you hold on the trade, and as soon as it hits your target one, you take the money. Okay, so if I had seen this maybe when we came into class, we could have taken this trade together, because this makes perfect sense. Okay, and now we're just holding on. It's been what, how many hours? Maybe about 3 hours, and looks like we're about to hit our first target. Okay, so I hope you guys see how this can be traded live, and yeah, and most likely once it hits here, you'll see a reaction and it'll start turning downwards. You can see that the HSI is going into overbought mode, which means this kind of indicates that there might be a price turn around here. Okay, let's look for more examples, and we'll go back to the euro and let's see what happens to it. Completed. Oh, let's go to emerging. And let me open up my email so that I can look for some alerts that are coming through. So as I said, the alerts does not work on the free account, unfortunately. Okay, so you guys have to have a paid account, and if you find this service worthwhile, you can definitely go ahead and you know, make a payment for it. So this is what a notification looks like. Sorry. So you'll see a bearish butterfly on Aussie NZD M15. This happened at 3:30 today. There was a couple of other, so this notifies me whenever there is a terminal bar, which means it's ready to be traded. So let's look at this one, Aussie NZD M15. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to open up Aussie NZD, and let's look at M15. This was the butterfly bearish, or was it this guy? No, this was the older one. Okay, there are quite a few. Yeah, this was it. Okay, so how do we interpret this trade? Let's do this together. Close this guy. Okay, we are looking here. Look at the, okay, sometimes this HSI does not load, so unfortunately I can't tell you much from here. Off and on means?
Go to your oscillator.
Okay.
Off HSI. Turn it on again.
Yeah. Okay, Poonhui is the genius. Thank you. Okay, I'm glad he's around. Now, a very good example. Let's try to read this through. What do you notice about the terminal bar itself? Is it something that's encouraging or discouraging? Encouraging. Why? Shooting star. Okay, it's got a very thin body and it's telling you that the PRZ rejected it. So I'm interested. I'm going to turn off levels again. How much is my HSI? 103. Now remember, we are trying to short. The next fellow, wow, 63 already. What do? Cry? No, we trade, we jump. Okay, straight away jump in. So turn on levels. First of all, figure out, is your risk to reward. So after this, you can enter here at 63. Your stop loss is going to be at around 90. So about 25 pip stop loss. Your target one is 22. So it's about 1-to-1 first target. Yes, take it. But just because you take it, don't just anyhow pray that it hits level 1, target 1. You draw your trend line. Sorry. draw your trend line to join all these tops and then pray that it will hit here. Did it hit here? No. So here it's breaking above at around, you're only going to get about 10 pips off this trade, but it's okay. Forget it. It's okay. Let's look for a type 2 entry. Is there a type 2 entry? No terminal bar.
Red one.
So we might be at a potential type 2 here, but let's try to analyze this a little bit further. Okay, so this is your type 1, comes back up and it's touching here. No, for a type 2 the bar doesn't work, right? So type 2 there is no indicator. So you need to spot this. We have asked them to put in a type 2 indicator so that you know that there is a type 2. So this looks like another type 2 and the HSI seems to be turning down. So this might be another potential entry at this level. In fact, I might take this trade. There are some more patterns that are at a higher level. So you need to be cognizant of where is this other pattern? Here. So even if you take this trade, you must be aware that there is a further confluence zone at the top. Here, just about here. So for me personally, because the HSI is not really crossed over, I would like really to see this guy go and touch the 1.13. I tell you, I'll be very happy to sell somewhere around here. Okay, so I'm going to wait for that terminal bar alert at this level and then look to sell and really hold it for a nice long ride. And I'll of course draw my trend line from here, and as long this is not violated, I will continue to hold. As soon as it's violated, I'm out. Okay. All right, 8:55 for the guys on the webinar. Any last questions that you have? I hope you found this interesting. We've done some live trading. We've done some, I've briefed you about HSI, which is a brand new indicator, which I feel is going to be game changing in the future. And one thing I wanted to tell you guys about is after your 30 days, you would have to sign up on Formation Seeker. There is another option for you. We also have our signal service, which is getting most of the trades from the Formation Seeker. So if you would like to consider that, you can go to HarmonicForex.com and click on signal service for more details. Okay, but I'll be happy to take questions in the last couple of minutes. So, okay, Paul says it was very helpful. Thank you. How do you sync the signal service since you have to monitor the HSI? Okay. Yes, so our signals are more real time now. So if you realize, we don't release any signals that are pending orders anymore. We have to monitor it carefully, and we've just started this just for the last 2 or 3 signals, and I really hope that it's going to make a change in the way we provide our signals. So yeah, and there was a question around the recording of the webinar. I'll try to figure out how I can get the recording. So I'm not sure if it will come to me or it will come to Scott. Okay, I think I'll wait for another 2 or 3 minutes to see if there are any questions. Guys in the room, you guys can take a break and we'll come back and maybe answer any questions. So maybe get back in about 5 minutes time. When is the next webinar? I really haven't thought about it, but looks like, Peter, you find it interesting. I hope. Okay, can you repeat what we should do to get the formation seeker? Okay, so what's going to happen is we will send you codes with the webinar, with the formation seeker details. So it's going to be a code that's valid for 30 days. You can use that to do the trading as what I've shared with you today. Wow, Hanish asked, can the CD leg be tradable as there is more potential as waiting for... Yep, Hanish, very good question, but there is some sort of an advanced technique that we use. In fact, if you had looked at Terry's analysis this week, he said pound dollar was a sell based on a CD swing. So he said that we need to sell it somewhere here, if you can see my screen, and it really fell at this level. So yeah, it is, but it's not built into the software. I think we have to take the signal immediately, or yes. So unfortunately, there is no way that I can fix that problem. You have to be ready to take signals almost at any given point of time. Maybe what we can do to improve it is to give you a heads up that in the next 15 minutes there is going to be a signal coming up. So I'll try to incorporate that. Yes, you will get access to Scott's live webinar. So you guys should sign up and get ready for next Monday's webinar. Okay, something about the PRZ. Guys, quiet please. Okay, something about the rejection of the PRZ, and that's Angeli's question. So, okay, what it means is that, let me try and go in again. Okay, rejection of the PRZ is something like this. If the PRZ is somewhere here and there is a nice bounce off it, it means that the PRZ has been okay, when you say PRZ has been rejected, it means that this bar will crash through the PRZ. If it's been accepted, it will just bounce off like this and move in the direction that we are expecting it to move. So Peter, your question about distinguishing the right pattern is really around, as I said, follow the rules. There is no right or wrong pattern. It's whether all patterns are right. It is just whether the HSI coincides and also the terminal bars are agreeable to the terminal bar +1, +2 shows that the direction is about to change. Okay, everyone, so I'm going to pull this to a close. Maybe I'll open up for one last question. Anything burning? If not, if you need to contact me, you can drop me a mail. My name, which is Snehat at HarmonicForex.com, and we will get the codes to you within the next 2 days. So thanks a lot, everyone. Hope you enjoyed yourself, and hopefully catch up with you the next time round.